It's not yourself out, so don't want to get it.
No, I get it. I appreciate it. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's the hell they do.
Yeah.
Feel like three.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was telling Eric, I work outdoors. All of my adult life is just engineers on
Valentine's Day.
no getting around it, man.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Your band?
Yeah, playing at one event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. What's the name of your band?
Just a bunch of normal tourists.
Is that what, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What, three weeks away for you? 3, 4 roughly?
Yeah, 3. We're definitely wrapping up practices right now, so. This is 2 days a week, at the studio 1 day a week, at
Oh.
work on my regular job, too, on top of it, so.
Okay. So, what's the instrument?
Like guitar and I'd say too. Electric guitar, so.
Yeah,
Maybe like.
Long as it's in. Do that. The screen up there. He's gonna join us virtually.
It's really thin.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's get down to
Just microscopically
Well, we're close to worst, last Friday.
and I have
It
to
was
see a
negative,
plastic surgeon.
almost negative 40. So Sunday,
Yeah,
5 to 6,
Oh, on that.
Yeah.
that's gonna feel like.
Yes, walk it back to my surgeries.
Friday.
Yeah,
Big
I know.
This is, yeah. I couldn't.
Or. It's not bad at all, so I go like around. People in. So. Really, like, actually.
Jeff Stain.
Fine, like, everybody likes down equipment. So, yeah. No, the fitness center through the rec department.
Oh. Did you see that guy fired the other day?
No,
Over by, yeah, right by my building over there. That's a big store. I went to the fire department. Just like. Walk away. That is just snowing. Yeah, you know what I mean? I hear them overnight all the time. They come back there. Like right now. But there's a really bad car fire right over there. Saturday morning.
Saturday morning?
Not like this last year. That's for sure.
I think my first like around 11.
Yeah, just not going in one.
It's
Anybody need a spare agenda? Got a couple here. Oh, that was, I think. Oh, it was their number. Let's go. Let's roll there. It's 6 o'clock. Evening, everybody. We'll call the planning commission to order. I'll ask staff to take a quick read. Thanks, Mayor. Mayor Devine, present. Wayne Clark, here. Brian Frank,
here.
Kathleen Dagenhart,
Here.
Lisa Coons,
Here.
Jessica Katzenmeyer,
Here.
David Roshka,
Here.
Eric Torkelson.
Here.
And Brandon is excused. So we have a quorum, be present. Excellent. Then we'll move on to item C, which will be approval of the minutes from our meeting in December.
Vote to approve.
Second. Motion. There's no corrections or changes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Minutes are approved. We will go to item for section D, and we will take up items 2A and 2B.
Oh, I hit record. I confirmed.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
Sorry. Thanks, Mayor. Jack Kovneski is joining us remote, and Jack, can you hear us? And feel free to start.
Yep, I'm good to go. Let me know if there's any problems with the speaker or audio.
Sound good.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So this is Banh Mi Corner at the West Allis Town Center at 6870 West Greenfield Avenue, directly next to the existing Dollar Tree. Proposed as a restaurant serving Vietnamese fare, including banh mi sandwiches, milk teas, fruit teas, boba tea. This requires a conditional use permit. Anticipated opening is in March. The proposed hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day except for Tuesday. The business will be closed on Tuesdays. And as you can see, it's right by that, across from that Five Below, and then also that Dollar Tree it's adjacent to. There is an existing master site plan on file from when the West Allis Town Center was redeveloped in about 2009. Landscaping is existing on the side of the building running along that driveway. There is shared parking with Dollar Tree and Five Below. One thing to note is that there is no existing bicycle parking that's required per code. At least one outdoor bicycle rack will be required. The existing refuse area, staff inspected this, and we noticed that over the years it has deteriorated with the wooden posts and slats on the gate missing. So we asked for a replacement of those gates for screening. Looking at the floor plan, there's 32 indoor seats for patrons. They're met with a cashier counter for carryout service. There is no wait service at this restaurant. It's primarily just fast casual style. There is a small preparation area that's visible to the public. And then running down that hallway, there's 2 restrooms, an office space, and then the rear exit. Additionally, there is a 510 square foot kitchen, and then also storage and supplies rooms. And then this connects directly to the rear trash refuse area. There's not much else to say for this site other than that staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit for Banh Mi Corner and the site landscaping architectural design review, subject to Common Council approval, revised site plan showing those enhancements to the screening of the existing refuse area, public bicycle rack being added, and then also if there's any signage and lighting plans being reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Office, subject to permitting. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Second. We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions? Good. Is there anyone here representing the project? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Guys have it. Items 2A and 2B are approved, and we will move on to items 3A and 3B. Toro Sports. Jack.
Thank you, Mayor. Toro Sport Complex is at 6014 West Madison Street. As you can see, here's the former indoor gymnasium for the former St. Mary's congregation that existed in West Allis. They are occupying 2 lots within the city. One lot for that existing gymnasium and cafeteria area, and then also a lot serving as parking space. Shown on the image are the 2 yellow locations. The proposal is for a multi-use facility, an event space serving cultural events, weddings, baptisms, and then also the gym serving indoor recreation from sports between basketball and volleyball and other sports. There is a kitchen on site. However, in the staff report, we incorrectly included that there is a restaurant. Restaurant will not be included for this use. It's just the event space and indoor recreation. C2 zoning for this property. The event space being over 5,000 square feet does require a conditional use permit. The hours of operation for the event space, which includes the baptisms, cultural events, and so on, are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m., and on Sundays they're closed. For indoor sports and recreation, the proposed hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Again, with those 2 properties, there is an existing site plan on file from the previous tenant in 2013. There's the main building, which is on that south side, and then there is the parking lot on the north side. This parking lot has 25 parking stalls, complete with landscaping buffering the public sidewalk from the parking lot, complete with a pedestrian connection. Outdoor bicycle racks, like the previous proposal, are required outside the building, just to support this use, as there are none at the moment. There is an existing refuse area directly north of the building on that lot with the building, shown as number 1. This upon staff inspection, there is fencing there and it does provide screening. However, the existing refuse was not correctly located in the refuse area. We just want to ensure that refuse will be located within the screened area only. Other than that, since the site is built out, there are no major site changes. And moving on to the next item is parking. We've received some concern due to this being a public hearing that needs to go before Common Council. We received some concern of parking during high volume events. We want to ensure that parking concerns are alleviated by the applicant. We know that there are 25 parking stalls in the off-street lot. However, during high volume events, we may anticipate that more than 25 cars will be utilized. Staff is recommending that an off-street parking plan is created, utilizing existing properties nearby, ensuring that parking does not largely occur in the neighborhood, maybe on 60th Street. One suggested site is the Wells Fargo parking lot. That is a very large parking lot that is largely underutilized, especially on weekend dates when high volume events may occur. So we just want to work further with the applicant on this. However, we don't have parking minimums for this. We have parking maximums. So that is just something we want to consider. Looking at the floor plan, this slide shows the existing gymnasium area complete with a stage. This is the upper level. The upper level is accessed by a split level entrance landing along West Madison Street on that southwest corner of the building. Then there are 4 sets of staircases that lead directly into the lower floor. And then on the next slide, it shows the existing kitchen, assembly hall, stage, shower area, storage, office areas, boiler room, and restrooms. Again, this is serviced by that split level entrance landing on that southwest corner, serving as the main entrance, and then interior staircases. This is just showing the upper gym level and then also the lower level kitchen and assembly hall areas. With that being said, we do have a recommendation for approval for Toro Sport Complex, subject to the following conditions: Common Council approval of the conditional use permit, building permits, and other necessary permits being applied for with the Code Enforcement Department and other departments. A revised floor plan was submitted by the applicant, which did include kitchen equipment and bleachers, so we thank them for that. Public bicycle rack being located in front of the building, and then also signage plans, lighting plans, and then also continued maintenance of existing landscape and the trash enclosure. Any questions? I don't know if the applicants are there, but
Yeah, Luis?
Here we are.
Yes. Any questions? Wade?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Jack, is the health facility, is the gym available to the public?
from our meeting with the applicant, it doesn't sound like it's going to be necessarily like an open gym operation. It's going to be more reserved for sporting events and which are programmed by, I don't know who they work with, but it's not going to be an open gym like the new rec center. But the applicant, if they're there, they may have a different answer.
Thank you.
I want to take a quick summary. I brought with me copies of the existing occupancy permits that highlights an existing occupancy of 240 people in the lower level, granted by city of Dallas, and for the gym for 500 people. Our intention is not to utilize the capacity. Based on a conversation we had with the building inspection department, they suggested us to do some new calculation based on the new code. And after we did the calculations, we verified that we can still have the 240 people in the lower level. However, we will decrease the capacity in the gym area from 500 to 383. So right now, in theory, there's an existing capacity of 740 people. And what we're going to do is going to cut it almost in half to 383 people. Hopefully that will mitigate the concerns about the volume of people. The other issue that the building inspection requested was to verify if the existing bathrooms have the capacity to support the smaller capacity. We have the calculations and we confirmed that if we reduce the capacity to those numbers of 383, existing toilet space will justify the support of the street. In regard to the parking, we know that we have a parking that provides space for 25 people. And in theory, there's 4 people per car. So in essence, we can justify 100 people in there. There's also an additional green space adjacent to their parking that also belongs to them. And they're envisioning to increase it as for a parking lot. However, we need to generate funds to be able to proceed with that route. And the last 2 days, the owners have been in touch with the bank to see if they could lease the space for the parking. They had to go through a couple of channels with the corporate before they respond for the parking. There was also a concern about fire safety, and by decreasing the capacity in half and providing fire alarm throughout the whole system, our understanding from the fire department is that we will be in compliance with the requirements. In regards to the social events in the lower level, the owners of this building, they also have a restaurant in 84 in Lincoln and 2 additional restaurants on the near south side. They mainly cater to a specific region of the country. He also coordinates soccer events. So the idea of him is to have this building to provide a space for the social event because they rent spaces in churches and things. They want a permanent space. Even though the lower level provides space for 240, 245 people, they do not envision having that volume of people. They think that weddings or social events fluctuate between 90, 180, but will never exceed that volume. We hope that they can have the space occupied the lower level during the weekends and hopefully social events during the day, but they don't have the volume of people they will bring in. They have an existing kitchen. Existing kitchen will be used mainly to provide the meals for the social events. They're also exploring the option of perhaps having a liquor license so they can provide a liquor during those social events. The restaurant and the alcohol will not be for the general public. It will be mainly for the support of the social events. In regards to the upper level of the gym, I mentioned before, he sponsors a couple of soccer teams. And those teams during the winter, they don't have a place to practice or at the events. So at the present time, they rent gyms from different churches. And they hope that this gym will provide them the space to do their practice. The gym, even though it has a capacity for 134, as you know, when you have a basketball team or a volleyball team or soccer team, you have the maximum of 10 people on each side, so there's 20 in the field. And the bleachers that we have are adequate for 80 to 100 people. And when you have children, the only people that come is the mom and the dad and okay? So we do not envision huge volume of people. We're of the opinion that the approach that we're taking will mitigate the concerns that the public might have about the parking and the noise. They have a space located on the north side of the building that allows them to load and unload whatever things they have to do, food, garbage, without disrupting the neighborhood. You know,
Whatever need.
some, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I had a couple questions. So when it comes to the bathrooms, are those ADA accessible? And I guess, Steve or Jack, do they need to be?
My understanding based on the code is that if you have an existing building and you do not disturb the building as it is, then we're in good shape. If we were to do alterations or modifications, the code indicates that for every dollar that you spend on alteration, you need to spend 20 cents and upgrade for ADA. In this case, that's not regarding ADA again, the building is a bi-level. As soon as you open the door, there's a set of stairs to the lower level and the upper level, so the feasibility of a handicap ramp is non-existing. The building, as I said, has adequate safety because it provides a set of stairs in each corner. And our understanding, based on the conversation with the fire department, is that if we provide complete fire alarm system, we will be inclined for the level of safety and based on the volume of people.
Now, what about like a first aid station? Is something, a first aid station, is that, I don't see that on the floor plan. And is that something that should be taken into consideration? I mean, Steve or applicant or Jack?
Oh, you mean like, just,
At first aid, yeah, somebody gets injured, you have like a room, you can, bandages and.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that we'll be having, it's up to you guys. I mean, I don't think that's typically required. It's not something that code enforcement or planning would require, but I mean, that's a good idea. We have people, whether it's AED devices or, bandits, whatever it may be.
In the gym area, there's a backstage, back area, where there's some showers and multi-purpose little room. And we're understanding that's where they undress or put their band-aids or.
That's all for my side.
And the sports is not competitive, it's recreational, so we don't envision fighting for one.
Right, yeah.
Just practice and socialize, yes.
Any other questions? Brian?
So most of the teams that are gonna be using the gym are sponsored from,
They're not necessarily true, in soccer, other leagues, soccer, they have groups of people and some of them like to play indoors.
sure,
So most of those people are his clients, the people that buy his food and go to the places.
okay.
So it's just informal
Well, these are
games.
just the leagues that he kind of
Yes.
sponsors in, that they're gonna use the gym.
And
He'll use the gym then also for functions and stuff like that as well.
yeah, the objective is to have the flexibility on both levels.
Sure, okay. I move to approve.
A second. And a second. Any other questions, discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Move on to item 4A and 4B. Jack, keep you rolling here.
All right, yeah, thank you. So we have before us today, Cars Are Us 2 at 10920 West Lincoln Avenue. As plan commissioners may note, this is very similar to a previously approved wholesale automotive dealer at 10150 West National Avenue. It's essentially the same thing. We did have a question from the mayor if this is something that we see as a trend. We have not seen many wholesale automotive dealers. This is just coincidence, we believe. So just wanted to get a little background on that. Yeah, so the property is zoned I-1. Wholesale automotive dealers are considered light motor vehicle sales uses, so a conditional use is required. The hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And this is that former Henry Schein Dental building. I believe we've seen come across Plan Commission for site plans before. So like the previous one, this business will not be selling vehicles to the general public and will not maintain an outdoor vehicle lot. So no maintenance, storage, or staging of vehicles will occur on site. The office space wholesale operation includes purchasing vehicles from auctions or public markets, to the resale of other licensed dealers, and then the office space is largely just for that administrative work and meeting with clients for transactions. No interior or exterior changes are proposed at the site or building. And then 2 parking stalls assigned by the property owner are on the other lot, shown in yellow on here. These are owned by the same property owner. It's just 2 separate lots at the moment. They are occupying suite 210 in that second floor. No interior changes are occurring, are proposed here. So it's just a simple office space. Looks like 955 square feet. With that being said, we are recommending approval of the site landscape and architectural design review for Cars R Us 2, subject to common council approval, and then that conditional use permit limitation, limiting the use to a maximum of 2 parking stalls for business-related purposes. Anything against that, anything higher than that will be against the conditional use permit, along with no mechanical work on site. And then the area was recently landscaped, so we request just a continuation of property maintenance for that landscaping. Thank you. If you have any questions, I don't know if Antoine, the applicant, is there, but if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Any questions?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. If there are no other questions or discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Carries. Item is approved. We'll move on to item 5.
Mayor, next item is Habitat for Humanity and the City of West Dallas are endeavoring to partner on an agreement for 2 properties at 69th and Beloit. These are currently owned by the City of West Dallas, and if you recall, 2024 we used community development block grant funds to remove an old tavern on this site. It was called Zara's Bar on the corner. That with the passing of that bar being removed and the site being cleaned up, pad ready, the CDA had directed staff to proceed with a plan to, put out an RFP and to build a house or 2 houses on each of the lots. And we had consulted with some private sector developers, builders, and we received one bid. And the bid to build one house, basically a 3-bedroom with a bonus room, house, 2 stories, was over $400,000, about $416,000 to build. That exceeded the subsidy limit that we're, or the value limit that we're allowed to, when using federal funds. So we're in a bit of a dilemma. We went back to the CDA and shared that information, and they directed us to take a look at some other options. So lo and behold, we had a meeting, I think, the year prior, and then more recently with Habitat for Humanity, and Brian, Beth, and Yuli are here representing Habitat for Humanity. They're here to answer any questions, but I'll just dive into a short presentation we have prepared here. So, but that is our charge, I guess, this evening, is to review their site landscaping architectural plans for the construction of 2 new single-family homes, which would be affordable, be a lasting affordability model. And these would be the first of their kind built by Habitat within the city of West Allis. Most of their scope, most of Habitat Milwaukee scope has been in the city of Milwaukee, and they're looking out at suburban regions to do more good and provide affordable housing to people, first-time home buyers, and so on. And then to get the goal here again to expand access to affordable housing while maintaining the neighborhood quality. So we talked about the former bar. The 2 properties are actually zoned C2 commercial, which is sort of historically for the prior commercial property. Now, C2 is not a barrier to also allowing low density or even high density housing for that matter. So in this case, the 2 homes are considered permitted uses. They do follow the C2 district zoning regulations. Indicate that we need to follow the RB district zoning requirements, which typically require a 10-foot minimum, setback from the front, 3-foot minimum from the side yards, and at least, I think a 15-foot rear yard. With respect to the layout, each of these homes will be built with a basement, a full basement. The basement won't be finished. It'll be utility purpose for, your water heater, your furnace, wash tub, and those types of controls. Aside from that, it'll be your typical block wall, basement, and feature 4 bedrooms. The bedrooms will all be on the 2nd floor of the space, along with a full bathroom on the 2nd floor. On the 1st floor, you'll have an attached garage, kitchen, living room area, as well as a half bath. And we'll get into the floor plans next. The construction phasing, they hope to start construction this year, in the summer of 2026, and finish up in the spring of 2027. The sale would take place in 2027 to a qualified homeowner that meets the affordability requirements. Habitat would manage the that process, as these properties would ultimately be as part of an agreement sold to Habitat and then built upon. The minimum income and typically is right around the county median income, roughly $60,000 up to about 80% of median income is the idea. So just the basement floor plan, again, just sort of utility in mind: wash tub, washer dryer space, furnace, water heater, sump pump. Staircase, that same staircase goes up through the 2 floors all the way up to the 2nd floor. Falling up to the 1st floor area, you notice on the corner, upper right corner, is the garage area, a 1-car attached garage. Now, Habitat typically doesn't build garages as part of their, at least in the ones that we've toured in Milwaukee. Those homes were all built with a pad in the backyard for parking of a car, typically off of an alley. In this case, there's no alley, and staff felt it would be appropriate to at least include a garage, one stall garage. So they did change their plans and incorporate a garage into the format which is being presented here this evening for approval. And so you have the 1-car coming in, roughly about 21 feet deep, with I think it's about an 8.5-foot wide garage door. 7 or 8 feet tall on the garage door. Coming into the home, into the kitchen area, and then that's, where you have the connection between kitchen, the front living room area, half bath, and, dining room, living in the back of the house. And this front area is more or less a foyer, coat closet, and, walking past the half bath, kitchen, the flow out to the back door of the building. The second floor, also accessed from that main central staircase. You have your 4 bedrooms upstairs, an additional space here, which is open, open to this corridor for a small office, home office, or play area, however the family sees it fit. But the bedrooms all have, closets and access to that full bathroom on the second floor of the space. There aren't any proposed second floor porches. There is a front porch on the ground floor. But that is the second floor. In terms of architecture, the exterior of the building, it was important. I think what the city wants to see in this neighborhood is that it best meets the look of the neighborhood. And in general, there isn't really one defining type of architecture in the area, but you get a mix of bungalows, ranch homes, 2-story buildings. So this building is very, I think, consistent with that sort of range of products that are already exist in that neighborhood. They've added, at staff's request, they've added a shake style vinyl siding on the front and back gables of the building. They've incorporated a front porch on the front of the building and then attached garage. The window patterns throughout the exterior of the building, it has ample windows, both, on all 4 sides of the building. The rear of the building, there's some, I guess, push, I think, from the city to do a, covered rear entryway. Somewhat similar to the front of the building, to have that sort of overhanging shelter hip roof off the back of the building as well. And then there will be a small concrete pad behind the building as well for a small patio area, the landing of those rear steps. And then be also equally a walkway up to the front door from the public sidewalk. This is the side of the building. Again, ample windows around the building, and then on the opposite side, they actually feature some smaller, like piano style windows on the on that side of the building. So that helps reduce the amount of blank space, and with other construction and low density products that have come before the city. Quite often, some developers propose things without any windows on the side elevation whatsoever. It's always our push to get, break up those blank spaces with, and a great way to do that is through the use of windows on the building. So a little bit, this goes a little bit beyond the scope of Plan Commission's charge this evening, but just so you know, and Habitat, feel free to clarify anything here, but the basic idea here is to provide a lasting affordability. So in terms of the estimated sale price, it's going to be, while the home cost up on the top there, the hard costs and the construction costs are roughly add up to about $360,000 to build each home. And then with some underwriting from banks that Habitat works with, as well as some of their partners, and then the injection of some federal home funds from the city of West Allis, that brings the cost down to about $250,000 to the new family that moves in. And then that helps them. There would be some down payment assistance on each of the homes that are built. And then also some down payment assistance offered from some partner banks that Habitat works with. And then as far as the construction goes, there is always a sweat equity component where the family that's purchasing the house is rooted in part of the construction process, as well as the volunteer effort within the community to help out and raise the building together side by side with the family that will eventually live there. So just a little bit more detailed construction timeline for the build of the home. Everything from excavation, framing taking place in 2026, and then the certificate of occupancy. That's basically the building inspectors and so on that are reviewing the build as it's going up. ensuring that it meets all the code requirements and signing off on the building permit, that it's complete. And then the sale would take place in the fall of 2027. The construction, the hours that the construction would typically take place is going to be your Tuesday through Saturday, between daytime hours, 8 to 5 p.m. And down below, I believe this is you guys could probably tell me, it's from Milwaukee, the Bell Phillips area. Habitat was nice enough to invite us to a tour over in the summer, and we were able to tour these homes, and they're very nice, energy efficient, quality builds, something I'd love to live in. So it's quality construction. Where some of the things we're asking for in terms of another home, I think this one's on Garfield Street, but that gives you an idea of the type of construction. It's not exactly what we're getting here in West Dallas, but the form is very, very similar to what's being proposed, and it gives you an idea of the quality. In terms of our recommendation, we are recommending approval. Some of the things we're asking for are some of the exterior finish, color, material details on the exterior of the building. I guess we don't expect that both buildings will be the exact same color. I mean, I think the families get to pick a little bit too and choose the style of the color and, what they like on some of those exterior features. So that'll be forthcoming from Habitat. And then we're also asking for that small sheltered, like a roof over the rear door. And then at the base of the building, this was just a comment from code enforcement at the base of the building. Some of the exposed concrete above grade needs to be insulated. I know the team here is all over that, and that'll be detailed on the construction set of plans for approval and building permit. Additionally, I know Yulia mentioned that there was that the staircase from the garage up into the building was being looked at and adjusted, but just so as not to encroach as far out into the garage. Aside from that, just the typical building permits and street occupancy permits as necessary from our engineering department and code enforcement department. So that concludes my presentation. Habitat is here to help answer any questions.
Any questions? Wayne?
Mr. Mayor, Steve, will these homes have solar?
Can't answer that right now, but
Yeah, the plan, Brian Sonderman, the CEO at Milwaukee Habitat, plan right now is not to do solar. However, we're always working with state and other funding sources, and we have done solar on probably almost 100 homes in the city of Milwaukee. But when we can identify funding sources to do that, we'll definitely look into that. We can and have done on homes to do as much to prep for the future homeowner if they would want to do solar. So it would be capable of being, utilizing solar at a later time if we're not able to get the funding.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just had one. It's more like a curiosity question. What is the interest rate that like a family would be getting on something?
Yeah. So we have a group of community banks, credit unions, and local banks that offer just Habitat homeowners 3.125%, really a minimal down payment, no down payment, minimal closing costs, no PMI, and 30-year fixed. So these are not adjustable rate mortgages. So they're fixed rates. So they're the best deal you can get. And we're really grateful for that because that helps to it's all these pieces coming together, right? It's the partnership with the city, it's homeowners doing their part in the sweat equity, and then it's banks coming together and other sponsors to make it possible. So yeah, it's a great product.
Yeah. What happens like if the family isn't doing like the sweat equity portion? How does that work then, right? Like
Then they can't close.
Oh,
It's part of the deal. It's a partner. We call it a partnership agreement. So we sign that ahead of a shovel going in the ground. And the commitment from the family is to do the sweat equity. And a huge chunk of that is helping to build their home and their neighbor's home. And then it's also financial education. So a huge part of it is also a significant, almost 30 hours of financial education, which is far more than the typical first-time home buyer would be required for to get a home buyer, down payment assistance grant. In my 15 years at Habitat, we just don't run into people that don't want to do sweat equity. It's people find that, they know the Habitat program, they know that's part of it. And we almost never have anybody who drops out of the program because of sweat equity. It might be a job change or a family emergency or something of that nature. And it's very unusual for anyone to drop out at any point in time. So.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the commission? Do you have a question, Alderman Rowe?
I do. Steve, you said the back porch here,
Yeah.
asking for the overhang or requesting?
We're recommending that it be added to the project back. Some of the plans showed it, other ones didn't. I mean, there was on the plan set, but I mean, our recommendation would be to have a rear. Wouldn't have to be as large as what's shown on the front. Could be slightly smaller, just, large enough to cover the
Right, because there's that big blank
the
space
small
there.
deck
That,
behind the building there.
that's it. So
That's it, okay.
Second.
There's a motion to approve and a second. Any other discussion?
great idea.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Guys have it. That was item 5, correct? Or we taking 5 and 6 together? Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have mentioned 5 and 6. It's the same set of plans for each lot, so we can, I guess the way we have it, is
69 and
would Plan Commission like to amend its motion to take the 2 items together, or would you like to just, if you want to take this one separately, the way it's
Just
been
approve it,
agendized,
right?
you could go through the motions again and just.
Do another approval, right?
Yeah, do we do another approval or?
Sure. Of number 6.
I'll move. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve item 6. Alderman, do you have any questions on this one?
No, I'm just going. I hope you take our recommendation seriously.
We have, and we've definitely taken all the recommendations seriously.
Okay.
So we've done a lot of, and we appreciate it. We're very excited. I just want to say, we're very excited about the opportunity to do this work in West Dallas. And I just want to say that on behalf of Habitat, 42 years, we have never built outside the city of Milwaukee. And so we have been really, and we've been grateful for the staff, been so helpful to, make the additions to fit West Dallas as best possible. There are, changes that we typically would do. Those come with some cost increases, clearly, but we definitely want to be a strong partner. So.
My dad is in Racine. He's 84 years old and he's a retired. Well, he does electrician work for Habitat still.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he's been doing a lot of houses in Racine and he's not stopping.
All right.
So it's kind of cool to see this in West Dallas.
Yeah.
It's home. Right. So all in favor of item 6?
I,
Any opposed? Ayes have it. And then we will move on to item 7. Thank you.
All right, so, yep,
All right.
that's on me. So item number 7 is a site landscaping and architectural design review for ABC Automotive. And we're looking at 1462 South 81st Street, not too far from here. Overall, the applicant is ABC Automotive, and they are proposing a light motor vehicle service use at this location. The current operations of this site, at least previously, were bus transmission. Bus transmission has been out for a few months, though it hasn't been greater than 1 year at this point. The zoning of the site is C2, and another light motor vehicle service use here is going to be considered a legal non-conforming use. So under the traditional zoning, not typically permitted, but because Bud hasn't been out for more than a year, ABC Automotive would be allowed to occupy this site. Currently, ABC operates out of 8705 West Greenfield Avenue, and they're essentially looking to relocate a good portion of their business operations to this new site. So they're looking to relocate the auto diagnosis, inspection, steering, suspension, all of those great operations to this new location, and just keep the auto detailing and bodywork at their previous location. But they are looking to operate both locations still. We have come to an agreement with the applicant that all services at this new location should be performed indoors, just in consideration and in light of the neighborhood scale and context of the area. Proposed hours of operation for ABC are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. And overall, it's a 7,000 square foot building located on a 13,000 square foot lot. A grand majority of the extra space on this site is dedicated to a parking lot, which is set to be repaved. So I don't know if any of you folks have driven past the site in summertime. I drove past and did a little inspection in winter. But during the summertime, you can see that there's a lot of pitting and cracking of the asphalt to the point where it's almost not terribly drivable. So it's an awesome investment being made to this site. However, we are looking for some further details just to understand the scope of repaving, you know, whether we are going down to the bare ground all the way, or whether we're just looking at a resurfacing job. Additionally, we'd like to check out some of the slopes on the site just to make sure that everything checks out with our engineering department as well. Overall, they're proposing 12 parking stalls on site for this parking lot and 1 ADA stall. Really proactively, the business has decided to do bicycle parking as indicated on some previous plans. 3 stalls are indicated for the business, but it's still a little bit up in the air what kind of bicycle parking they'd like to pursue. On behalf of the city, we are offering the potential for a city-sponsored bike rack. However, that would have to be located in the public right-of-way, whereas any private rack, we would try to locate that really closely to the customer service entrance of the building. Landscaping, we also note that there are some really great proposals going on in these plans to really introduce some greenery to the site. The removal of 1 additional parking stall on the site is going to make way for some evergreen shrubs, hostas, and spirea plantings. And additionally, you'll see this more so on the site plan, but it's a really great use of screening toward the back of the site adjacent to a nearby residence. Garbage receptacles will be stored within the building in the maintenance area of the shop and will just be rolled out for pickup. An additional condition that we were noticing on the site upon inspection is that there are some junk vehicles, some really cool junk vehicles, but still junk vehicles on the site with trailers and some pallet material storage going on. So we would just ask that ABC Automotive or whoever owns the site currently remove that before ABC gains occupancy of the site. So here's a bit of a doctored up / most recent site plan submitted on behalf of ABC through Thrive. And here we are just indicating the 2 different locations for bicycle parking indicated on red on that plan. If it's located closer to the streetscape on the left there, that would be where a city-sponsored bicycle rack could go, whereas the one near the entrance would be a private rack. So whatever they would like to decide, but we'd like to solidify those details. Toward the southern portion of the lots, you do see that area that will be newly landscaped where an old parking spot used to be. We're in the process of querying whether that highlighted green area could also be transformed into landscaping if they would relocate their wheel stops. We haven't garnered a lot of discussion about this yet, but we are looking to confirm that detail. And if we can't see additional landscaping there, if there are any really salient reasons why, against why landscaping could be there. And then as I previously mentioned, toward the back of that lot, a really awesome idea there is to introduce some of those plantings there. And right next to there is an adjacent house. Here's just an image of some of the things that we've seen on site. We didn't include the very cool little tricked out VW bug, but it's gotta go. On the floor plan, we do have some notable changes for the sites. We are looking for the relocation of the storefront entryway to the parking lot area to provide for a new ADA compliant entryway, which is awesome. We are also seeing newly replaced window features for, I would say, nearly all of the windows on the building, with a new window being relocated toward that new customer entrance. We are seeing the replacement of the customer restroom to be ADA compliant as well. And then we see on the plans that there will be the removal and replacement of an existing overhead door to the south, just to widen that up a little bit. You know, in the modern age, all of our lifted trucks and whatnot probably pose some issues for that older opening. We kind of see these indicated on the stars here. So furthest to the left, that is the location of the old entrance, which will be moved now to that middle of those 3 stars on the left. That'll be the new entrance. also starred is the new ADA bathroom stall, and then toward the very end of the site, we'll see that new overhead garage door with a new shed dormer as well. Largely, these architectural plans submitted also mirror the proposed changes indicated on the floor plans with some notable changes. So the building will be repainted. Hooray! It's in some considerably diminished condition right now. So we will see it repainted in Rust-Oleum white with sunrise red and royal blue striping. Our recommendation, potentially to be more compatible with the neighborhood scale, would be to either tone down the accent colors in saturation or in the size and location in which they are painted. Definitely love the red, white, and blue theme there that they've got going on, but potentially we could see, decreasing that striped area, just striping the front of the building. We're definitely open to talking with ABC a fair bit more about that, just so things look more neighborhood residentially scaled. We also see that new shed dormer that I had mentioned placed over that overhead door, as well as that parking repavement detail, which we do need some additional info on. Notably, the site has been indicated by code enforcement as needing some property maintenance. So specifically, they note that the exterior building surfaces, so the roofs, chimneys, walls, foundations, overhangs, essentially whatever pertains to the site specifically, shall be maintained in good repair so as to prevent deterioration and preserve the visual aesthetic and character of the neighborhood. We know, based on popping out there real quick, that there are a few minor roof line repairs needed. So here we can see that striping and some of those new windows and doorways in the front. Well, existing doorway that'll be relocated. Oops. And then toward the side, this is as if you are in the parking lot facing toward the building. We'll see that new ADA compliant entryway on the left, the overhead door on the right, new shed dormer as well. And that striping does continue according to these plans throughout the building. Right there, I just caught a couple of spots where I was like, could probably use a little TLC. Overall, we do recommend approval for the site landscaping and architectural design review of ABC Automotive, subject to the following conditions. So as noted previously, those exterior maintenance improvements along the roof line are indicated as a condition. Any way we can scale down the color scheme proposed in the repainting of the building to be more neighborhood friendly. Additionally, indication and solidification of the bike rack type and location on their plans. Final confirmation of proposed landscaping areas, just to see whether at the very southern portion of the parking lot, whether they're interested in re-landscaping or not would be ideally confirmed. And then the removal of the trailer, vehicles, and pallet materials currently stored on site. Some of these additional conditions pertain to the scope of repaving. So when we understand the scope to which the parking lot will be repaved, we can further channel the applicant through these processes more. So we do ask for more detailed plans to show compliance with the city stormwater management and checklist, as well as that permit. Any plan modifications in the right of way to be coordinated with engineering. So I understand they're looking to potentially redo the curb cut entrance just to smooth that out. If they modify that at all, they've got to get the okay through engineering. And get that driveway permit. Additionally, any work for the building requires that building permit. And if they want to do signage, just run it past us and apply for the permit. At this time, if anyone's got any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions, Wayne?
Mr. Mayor, Emily
Yes,
is a representative of ABC here.
we do have a representative here, in the back here.
Thank you. My question for you is, are you in agreement with this rather heavy lifting list of notable changes that were put up that Emily mentioned, all these changes?
What do you mean heavy lifting?
Well, looks like some pretty major stuff has to be done.
Yeah,
Are you in agreement?
yeah. Yes.
A fair few of the items are just confirm with us. Are you going to landscape? What would that look like? Is there a solid reason against it? Where are the bike racks going to go? What type of bike rack? So it's not terribly prescriptive, but a little more collaborative in these conditions.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Eric.
So like item either with the removal of like the vehicles, trailers, kind of where's that discussion right now? Like, is there kind of like a timeline when that will happen, or is it just we hope it will happen?
I would feel that to ABC because I'm not sure where you folks are at in, you know, your site ownership or acquisition process. So what are your
Well,
thoughts?
pretty much all that stuff is mine. I mean, I figure we're not open yet. But once we're open, I gotta get all out of there anyways. I mean, it has to go. It's my own stuff. Otherwise I wouldn't be in business. That's the parking lot for the people.
Yeah, because my only concern, just a general concern that I have is like when we have the light motor vehicle operations come before plan commission, I feel like we kind, at least for me, I talk about the parking lots becoming like medium to long-term storage. And I think that's like, for me, that's like a problem, right? And some of the applicants will say, well, no, it's gonna be temporary. Cars move, they rotate every 2 to 3 days, but I can definitely tell you that that's not the case in some, with some businesses here. So with that being said, like a planning standpoint, is there like an opportunity to put like a little more teeth behind this and kind of like ensure that these light motor vehicle businesses don't become medium to long-term storage lots?
Yeah, just run back to the site plan super quick.
So with any use like this, I mean, you know, the intent is to, you know, the parking spaces are there for customers, employees, and then, you know, the occasional car that they're working on, if they, you know, if they're not working, you know, they're typically working on the stuff inside the building. And when it's complete, it comes outside the building, gets parked in one of the spaces, for pickup. The longer term storage, that would have to be, you know, if cars just sit there and like that same, let's just say the same VW Bug's been sitting there for the past
Yeah.
2 months, you know, I think it'd be on us to sort of, you know, document that, reach out to the, you know, to Brad and, you know, ask him about that. What's, you know, what gives, but yeah, the idea would be that these stalls should be turning over, I mean,
Correct,
with
yeah.
vehicles and shouldn't just be the, you know, the same old car with flat tires and
Yeah, because I've seen that.
parts missing, so. And we, you know, it's a constant battle. I mean, I
Correct.
see on some other properties around town and, it is one that's difficult sometimes to enforce because it takes a lot of time,
Yes.
and documentation, but it is something that we can enforce through the site plan process and with our code enforcement department.
This is true. And
Yeah.
we always, on the planning side of things, we schedule application check-ins 6 months out.
Mhm.
So if we do catch any preliminary issues, I understand that a lot of folks are looking to open their business right away upon getting these approvals, of course, and gaining occupancy. We do plan out strategically a little 6-month check-in just to pop over by the site, see what things are looking like. If signage is up, but no permit's been pulled, we go, hey, you have to apply for your permit. So that's just another way in which we check in again with the folks. But I do understand those concerns and we have, you know, chatted with mostly Ashley to relay these messages to ABC. But we note that the internal circulation of the parking lot should remain free, that there should be no long-term storage of vehicles, and that the proposed curb cuts should not be blocked in any way by any vehicles waiting for pickup. ABC, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Brad.
Brad. Gotta stop calling him ABC, but Brad, do you have like an average kind of turnaround time for your vehicles that you typically have seen or anticipate?
I mean, over at our shop right now, most of the vehicles average a week turnaround. Sometimes you get problem cars or parts you can't get or hard to get. You gotta order them from another state. It's definitely gonna be there for a couple weeks, maybe even a month. But if you look at over where we're at right now, the cars turn over all the time there.
We're in, it was at 87.
8704,
8704.
and then actually the address is wrong.
The map, I know I saw an office building, then I spun around and I'm like, there it is, because it didn't look right, or it sounded right.
That was on me, sorry
It's all good.
guys.
You were very close. Any other questions from the commission? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. If there's no other discussion, all in favor? Anyone opposed? I say that motion carries.
One abstention.
Thank you,
What are
David.
you working on?
Got you down.
Gotcha.
Got you down on, yep. Thank you, David.
Missed that. Yeah, good, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks.
Brett.
And then we can move on to item 8. Right,
Yeah, that is also me. So we're looking at another SLA, but this time for Pretty Paws Pet Spa. And we do have an applicant, Kayla, and her partner here today to answer any of your folks' questions, should they arise. We're looking at 2060 South 61st Street. Overall, Kayla and company are proposing a pet spa and doggy daycare at this site.
It's not a daycare, it's a kennel.
Sorry,
We're not gonna do daycare.
pet boarding. My
Thank you.
apologies.
Perfect.
That's my bad on the PowerPoint side of things. I think the staff reports got it right, but the site was previously used by Villa Family Living Centers as a storage warehouse for furniture for senior living facilities. And overall, for the zoning, we kind of look at things with the more intensive of the two uses. So we are categorizing this as pet boarding, which is a limited use within the I-1 zoning district. The limitation imposed on pet boarding here is that it's permitted if no noise from the activity is audible from a lot used for residential purposes. So that's kind of the biggest contention or consideration, I will say, with the site is its proximity to residential uses. But after an application meeting with Kayla here, we have a pretty good handle on a plan for what to do should any issues arise. So Kayla has agreed to referring potentially more vocal dogs out to other boarders and groomers, as well as an area for relocation for vocal animals to the non-residential side of the building temporarily as they undergo her services. And if these measures do not work, we've come to the understanding that further noise insulation could be installed here. But based on her experiences in the building, it seems to be fairly soundproofed already, at least in the area that they are occupying. The noisier, more echoey parts of the building are primarily going to be utilized as storage here at this location. Overall, they're looking to operate Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Closed on Sundays, but they will have an attendant on site for boarded animals, and they are looking at a staff of 2. Overall, there are no major changes proposed for the site plan. The 6,300 square foot building is fairly considerable on the site and takes up a far large majority of the site. In terms of some lines of inquiry, we ran down with Kayla. You know, we had inquired, will you folks be proposing any outdoor dog run or kennel situation? And the answer to that is no. Everything will be enclosed indoors. For landscaping, there's a lot of honestly quite nice existing landscaping on the site, especially more locally or more located at the intersection of Mobile Street and 61st Street. Some minor maintenance is anticipated. They'll find out more in the springtime if they have to trim the hedges or knock anything back a little bit. But overall, some of the pictures we've seen from the summertime look really nice on site. Refuse is planned to be located within the building and will be rolled toward the alleyway for pickup. And employees will park on site in the 2 to 3 stalls available, kind of centrally located on the site, with customers utilizing the existing street parking on Mobile and 61st. And here's the site plan. I kind of doctored up for them just so we can really distinctly see the differences in how the building will be used. So we do see an adjacent home, you know, just south of the site, technically north is going down with that employee parking area toward the center. Feel free to correct me if I was incorrect on this. I anticipated garage door deliveries in the storage area of the site. But those are going to be relatively small scale in nature, just for their little pet retail area near customer service reception. Here are some of those existing landscaping features. Honestly, they looked really nice and swell. But if they need any maintenance, that's pretty routine. They'll figure that out in the spring and summertime. Highlighted employee parking there. And then the only thing we noted on the site are potentially some little paint touch-ups near that shipping and receiving door, where the storage is located. The floor plan is essentially the site plan, just zoomed in a little bit more. But we'll see here that folks will be parking primarily along 61st or Mobile Street and then entering through that main entry off of 61st Street into that pet retail area. From there, just to the south, so up technically from the pet retail area, they'll have a publicly accessible restroom and a small mechanical room. Moving downward from pet retail, we see an employee lounge, some offices toward the bottom with a potential cat boarding area, as well as that secondary grooming area that we had noted that vocal animals could be relocated to temporarily, as well as an employee exit to access that parking area. The bulk majority of the sites will accommodate the pet grooming and dog boarding area, with pet grooming located primarily toward that more residential side of things. Storage is indicated on the plans in that last third of the building with an upper story mezzanine. And that little red box is just where a refuse container may be stored near that overhead door. Overall, we recommend approval for the proposed animal boarding use at 2060 South 61st Street, subject to just a couple of conditions. So confirmation of the exterior maintenance improvements we had outlined, so just touching up the paint on the rear building facade, as well as a signage plan or potentially creative signage plan being submitted for design review and permitting if applicable. I know that Kayla had talked through the potential for a section of the building could be an excellent use for a proposed mural potentially in the future. But of course, if anything is proposed, we'll run it past you folks for approval as well. So that's all I've got for you. So if you have any questions. Thank you.
Any questions?
Just one, any security cameras to be placed on the site
We
here?
have to for safety reasons, plus if a dog got out, yeah, they'll be inside and exterior.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve. There are no more discussion.
Second.
Any other questions on the motion or discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Kayla. Thank you.
Then we'll move to item 9, residential accessory buildings.
So, this ordinance, there's two parts to this ordinance. In residential, just for everyone's understanding, residential accessory buildings are one example here, not unlike this building here, but typically everyone, if you have a residential property, you have your house on that lot, and the city's zoning ordinance would allow you to build something along this line in your yard area, alongside or in front of or behind your existing house. It has to be accessory to the principal use. There are certain parameters that it can't exceed a certain size. Height limit is on this first column, right? Just not sure what it is. The first column is this accessory dwelling unit, goes over the parameters where you have exterior wall height, the maximum height of 20. The height maximum of the overall building, not just the wall, but the overall height, shouldn't exceed the height of the principal building, and I guess not to exceed 20 feet. And then the building coverage is 50% of the principal building, not to exceed 800 square feet. Setbacks are 10 feet minimum from the main home. And then you've got the existing front, rear, and side yard setbacks as shown there. The first part of this ordinance is to change that front yard setback rule, right? My cursor's not working here, but you can kind of see where the setback from, front yard setback minimum 60 feet. So that 60-foot setback, in essence, it pushes that future detached accessory dwelling unit to the backyard. In other words, if you have a house that was built, previously, and your main house is set back far on the lot, and you don't have an option to build alongside or behind that existing home, your main home, this ordinance doesn't help you out much because the current standard for an ADU is 60 feet. Secondly, if you have a corner lot, for instance, or a double lot, and you have space to build an accessory dwelling unit alongside your main home on the side yard, that new construction of that ADU has to be pushed back 60 feet. So it reduces the flexibility, that 60-foot setback requirement reduces the flexibility of where you can build that accessory home. So we're looking to reduce that number from 60 feet to something less, and the something less would be dictated by the zoning district. Accessory dwelling units, again, are allowed by right in all residential zoning districts right now, subject to these rules. And then even in some commercial zoning districts, again, commercial zoning districts that have a residential home, a single or two-family house on them already. So that's the first part. The second part of the ordinance is to create some criteria for the column on the far right there, the other accessory buildings. And other accessory buildings are, things like carports, pergolas, gazebos, greenhouses, and the like. The current zoning definitions and, clarifications within this table aren't really conveyed. So in green down below, we're recommending having, some notes down below this table to sort of help clarify what we mean by other accessory buildings. And basically what it says is, unless otherwise described, detached structures like carports, sheds, pergolas, gazebos, greenhouses are considered other accessory buildings. Furthermore, point 2 just is indicating that, sort of clarifying that residential accessory structures over 150 square feet are going to require a building permit. So right now, if you build a 150 square foot shed, as long as it's anchored to the ground on a paved surface, it's good to go. If you go over 150 square feet, you can go up to 300 square feet. It's going to require a building permit. Our code enforcement department is going to have to meet code standards. Furthermore, we're introducing, for those buildings that are over 150 square feet, we're introducing some design and construction standards. We're not looking to be overbearing in this fact, but there are some, for instance, carports or, gazebos that can be fairly cheap. You can buy them on carports, especially. You can buy them, online for under $1,000. They've got canvas covers or basically tent poles with a canvas cover over the top. It's the kind of thing we're trying to avoid throughout the city, and that may be fine out in some more rural areas of town, but in the city of West Dallas, we see that there needs to be maybe a little bit more attention to design for such, for instance, like carports. Trying to avoid those the cheaper fabric types of construction. And then the last point, it just sort of goes without saying, and it's basically if you're building one of these other accessory buildings and it's going to be attached to the principal building. In other words, you're building a home with an attached carport, or maybe you already have an existing home and you're going to integrate that carport into part of your existing garage or attached garage. Then it's just subject to the typical specific zoning district setback requirements and coverages, to the respective zoning districts. And this, it may be hard to see here, but this is an example on carports from the city of Green Bay. Green Bay actually does prohibit, the cheaper variety of carports that you may see, on your travels around the area. That looks like Florida. Yeah. So, I mean, there's again, it's something that our code enforcement made us wary of. I think with the increased cost of just building construction in general, building garages, for instance, it's really easy to build to come up with a garage design and have it be $50,000-$60,000, if not more. So it's very expensive. So I think people are looking to other alternatives to sort of reduce their cost. Of course, it's understood, but I think there can be some minimum design requirements that, not allowing, for example, the fabric hoop house, for instance, or the all metal cart corral, which they, took from Hobby Lobby and decided to, install in their yards. So it's just those types of things that we'd like to sort of help avoid through this ordinance, and clarify a little further with some new language to table 1942 here. And then just some examples on that accessory dwelling unit setback. this is what it would look like. And this is an example at 61st and Lapham Street. This is a corner lot, about 60 feet wide lot. Lapham was up on the top, and then 61st Street is on the right side. Liberty Heights Park is across the street north of Lapham on the top of the screen. But, you know, in this example, it's basically a double lot, and the duplex is built on the western side of that double lot. In this case, the owner is interested in building a 400 square foot, footprint accessory dwelling unit. And under the current zoning ordinance, you can build that accessory dwelling unit, but it's got to be set back at least 60 feet from the front yard. So there's a lot of green space out in front of that new home, and it kind of eats into the rear yard. Now you're going to see a lot of stuff in the rear yard. This is an older aerial image that's not there today. But so it's sort of a case in point of what would be allowed under the current code. And then under the modified or amended code, we can move that accessory dwelling unit closer to the front yard, again, respecting the zoning district, the RB district's 10-foot minimum setback requirement. And it would be compatible with the homes along that stretch of Lapham Street. It would be respective of the side yard setbacks, the setback between the main home and the accessory dwelling unit. And they would free up more space behind the home for rear yard activities. Just some examples, and this is the house at 61st, just for context of what that looks like. There's a street view, so it's not exactly, well, it's under ice right now. That concludes, that presentation. We are recommending approval, of the ordinance amendment. It will have to go before the city council. We introduced it to the council at a prior meeting, and they were open to the idea of the change, but they wanted us to run it past you first. With your recommendation, we'll bring that back to council for consideration and public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions? If not,
Move to approve. I'll second.
we have a motion, we have a second. If there's no other discussion on the motion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? Ayes have it. Item 9 is approved. Move on to item 10.
Hello, one and all. I will be presenting the PC survey results.
One and all.
2 of you, thank you. Thank you to you, All-Star 2, who did the survey. It is okay. Things seem to be going well, is what I gather of the general vibe of this room, and that is great. We have a stellar rating of a 4.5. Insightful comments, which I did take to heart and did think were interesting, is that we give a good amount of detail, keep the applicants coming, that's helpful as well. Some of you folks would like to understand more about the neighborhood impacts and implications of our projects, more on the building facade details. And generally, you like our project tracking updates. You'd like a little bit more detail, and you don't mind our hyperlinks, so we'll keep them in the works. You feel informed, prepared, and engaged during our meetings, at least 2 of you do. And if you don't, please let us know. You'd like more applicant planning milestone updates, and you'd also like to pursue the potential for a remote option to become available for some of our plan commissioners to join remotely. This is something we've got to talk about as a department to see if that works, if that is appropriate for the context of plan commission. But yeah, overall, good comments from what we received. We try to keep things to an hour because we understand your folks' time is valuable. And to be honest, sometimes we start losing a little focus too. But when you have a jam-packed itinerary, some things just go a little over. But we thank you all for your time and for your patience and listening to us year after year. And to conclude, of course, we're here to inform you, to help you folks understand these projects better. So if there's literally anything in our reports, our meeting formats, our content, our timing, whatever the case is, don't hesitate to let us know. Hit us up after a meeting, before a meeting, via phone or email. We are here for you Monday through Friday. Thank you. And let's keep it going in 26.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments? All right, then our last item, are there any projects to track?
Jack, are you still online?
Yep, I'm still here. So we have a wide variety of projects. In that background right there is a good shot of the current Union Green buildings on 65th and Greenfield. There's some good progress done on that. And then on the next slide, there's some other updates for residential construction. Top left corner is Hidden Lofts on the city's west side. They have one building up so far. 3 pictures down below are of the Union Green. And then the picture in the top right-hand corner is the back of the apiary on 70th and Washington. Next slide shows some updates for commercial side of things. Tsunami Express is open. The Armory Hockey Development Center next to Festival Foods, their signage is up and they are going through the occupancy process. Topper's Pizza on about 110th and National. They are in there. That was approved in last January. And then CD One Price Cleaners in the bottom right corner is in progress, working through the construction stage of things. So look forward to that soon as well. If there's any other questions, let us know.
Thank you, Jack. Any other questions from the commissioners? Need a motion to adjourn. We have a question.
Mr. Mayor,
You didn't get a second.
some time ago, there was discussion about one of the city's objectives of having 70,000 population in a certain period of time. At the next meeting, could we have an agenda item, which we get an update on how that's progressing?
Population estimates.
Well, the population, I think, the goal is for 70,000 people, correct?
Correct, right.
And I
Grow.
don't know if we're at 70,000 yet.
We're not.
I wonder how far we've slipped below 60,000.
But I don't know. I mean, we get estimates from the Census Bureau, right?
Department of Administration too, I think, sends us something periodically.
But I'm not sure how often, if
Yeah.
it's twice a year or, I mean, we can find the most recent one. I don't know if we'll
We'll
have.
see what we can come up with, Wayne, to get you the best estimate. Yeah.
But I think the more important issue is what steps is the city taking to get us to 70,000?
I can tell you one thing, it's not on the agenda, but we just did a partnership at the last council meeting to approve a grant from WEDC about Make My Move, which is a company that cities can hire to incentivize moving here by telecommuter or teleemployed, what's the word I'm looking for? Telecommuters,
Telecommuters, remote work.
remote work
Yeah.
people, and that was gonna add, I believe the goal was 38 residents. I will say too, and from what I guess, every new housing option that can bring in a couple hundred people is still gonna be challenged by families just not being as large as they were a generation ago and people not having as many children and you know, people getting married later, a lot of things like that, so. That's all, I mean, that's just all guesstimates at this point, but we'll try to get something. Yep.
I'll second the adjournment.
Got it. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Return. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
On the.
Auditing.
This kind of.
I know, I'm like. Since you. Like.